Hello, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to be back in physical dialogue and communication with you. I am all the time internally in dialogue with you. I have so much excitement in my life right now. I can look at any avenue, any arena, and there's good things going on. And I'm really living in kind of the realm between hope, believing, and knowing. I spend 95% of my time there, and it's amazing, to the point where hope doesn't actually feel that good. You know, the element of doubt included in it.
So on the emotional scale, there is doubt way over here, hope way over there, and then there is believing, and then there's knowing. Can you feel that source is continually calibrating even beyond where it is? In other words, there's no ending to the calibration. So
deeper and deeper knowing. And so what I want to talk with you about is in terms of
it's not just deeper and deeper knowing. Expanded is a better word than deeper.
Expanded knowing.
But it's more frequent knowing. It's finding it, isolating it, and calibrating to it. That's what you mean by deeper. And then more easily accessible, more normal for me.
I love this concept of calibration. It's new. I love that you bring something new every time. A couple days ago, I was listening.
You ask for something new
Yes,
every time.
For sure, and I definitely do. A couple days ago, I was listening.
You put it in the vortex. You did. You and your life has put it in the vortex.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We just got there first because we have no resistance. When you ask for something that has never been before, it comes instantly to us in terms of our knowing, because we have nothing that resists it. And so when you ask for it, it is, as far as we are concerned. So we're right there, holding the frequency of that, broadcasting the frequency of that, making it possible for you to calibrate to the frequency of that. You got that?
So when you're at this place of things going really, really well, and the fine-tuning that you want to make is almost more subtle, perhaps?
Why would you want to do that?
Why would I want to?
Why would you want more? Or why would you want to fine-tune more? What's your motive in that?
So, for instance, these particular project that I'm working on, there's so much of it that's happening, and
But our question is, what is the motivation for your calibration? Is it for greater accomplishment, or is it for the resonance of calibration? This is a trick question.
But isn't the accomplishment, to a certain extent, the proof of the calibration?
It is. But if you're looking for the manifestation, it often screws up your calibration, because when you look for something that isn't, now you're out of sync. But if instead you're enjoying the feeling of syncing up, and you have knowledge of what that syncing up will lead to, but the motive is not what it leads to, the motive is how it feels, now you've got it. And the way we tease you into being willing to accept that is, you're not ever going to get it done. Your inner being is always going to be a beat ahead of you, because you're always going to be launching a new rocket. And so if you want to be all caught up, you're not ever going to be all caught up. There's always going to be something new for you to calibrate to. So let's make a statement to the universe. Let's be thankful to the universe. Let's shout to the universe this understanding that we just found. I never will be done, and I like it that way. Because calibration is my life. Calibration is my joy. Calibration is my quest. Calibration is the joyful expansion that is my eternal nature. Not accomplishing something. You're not a creator of stuff. You are an active creator. It's the creating that rings your bells, not the creation. But if you didn't have the idea of the creation, you wouldn't do the creating. But it's the creating that reads your bells, not the creation. But the creation is a good thing, because it's a bouncing off place to more creating. But it's not the next creation that is ringing your bells. It's the creation that is ringing your bells, because you are a creator.
I'm going to have to re-listen to that. My thing...
Well, it's the difference between a noun and a verb. In other words, you're not the noun, you're the verb. You're the becomer. You're the beiner. You're the becoming morer. You're the eternaler.
So the other day I was in the recording studio because I make music, and it's kind of the direction I'm going more and more and more. Speaking of creating, because that's actual...
We have a question for you.
Yes.
Why do you make more music? There's plenty of good music.
It's more fun.
You know, the 40s and the 50s, that was good music.
Oh, it was good music. 60s and 70s too.
We recommend that you just listen to the 40s and 50s. What's wrong with you? Why are you trying to create more music? Are you selfish? Are you so greedy that you can't be satisfied with the music that has been created?
Because it's inside me, I've got to create more.
Why?
Because it's so fun.
Because creating is fun. Because the evolution of things is fun. And why do you think it feels fun? Because your inner being is in a constant state of becoming. And if you don't move in the direction of someone who you caused to be in a constant state of becoming, when that gap starts to widen a little bit, you get uneasy.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was really important to hear.
So I'm in there, I'm having so much fun. It's like just bubbles of ecstasy popping in my mind, like this is what it's all about. And
So what you're describing right there is the thrill that your inner being feels when your inner being is offering a vibration and you're wide open, and so it's flowing all the way through the circuit. And so when you describe those kinds of emotions, you are putting descriptive words to the way the source within you feels. So if you're ever giving to someone and it doesn't feel like that, something's off. In other words, your inner being doesn't ring your bells when your bells aren't ringable. Just a little aside there. At the core of all that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most important thing we've ever said. Just want to stick that in there.
So when you do something like create music or create art or whatever type of physical creation you make,
we just want to get the tense of this. You mean when you're in a state of allowing something that you've already created to begin to turn from thoughts to things.
I have created...
So when you're doing that...
Yeah, when you're doing that, I've created the most incredible album, and it's starting to come through right now. And sometimes I do, like, it really, it flows, and then it flows, and it flows, and it slows. And
ebb and flow.
Ebb and flow. And maybe I judge myself a little bit in the moments when it's ebbing, like I'm now out of sync.
Well, this is the thing that we are most wanting to talk to all of you about. Let that slow down be okay. Step 1 is ask. Step 2 is source answers. Step 3 is you let it in. So it's all right. When you get to step 4, you're mastered the letting it in. And when you get to step 5, you're not mad when you're ebbing. You understand that it's part of the process. You would wear yourselves out. Your physical bodies cannot contain the frequency of source. You're an ebber and a flower. You're a step 1er and a step 3er, a step 1er and a step 3er. And both are good, both are important. And when you get to the place where you feel good in contemplation, when you feel good in consideration, when you feel good in speculation, when it's juicy to think about something, when you don't assume that you're thinking about it as a step back, but you're actually enjoying the process. That'd be like an artist going to a palette of paints and being frantic to get that paint on the canvas instead of building the picture with a background and a blending and a deciding as you go along. If you wanted it to be the other way, you just take a picture and stick it up there.
So in the moments of ebbing, say for instance, like I was this past few days ago in the studio having the time of my life, and then realizing, okay, maybe it's going to be 2 weeks before I'm back in.
All right, stop there for a minute.
Yes.
So what's that feel like?
It feels like I wouldn't...
Deprivation of what I want. I have to go do other stuff that I don't want to do, and I don't get to do this thing that I do want to do. So what's the feeling? Time shortage consciousness?
Perhaps, yeah.
Bondage?
Not bondage. Time shortage, and even frustration feels too strong. But it's a feeling of, deprivation from where I really want to be.
What's the difference between that and bondage? Because
I know I'll move through.
temporary bondage.
Yeah, temporary bondage. Okay.
But you're not where you want to be.
Right.
And so could you calibrate that and change that vibration? Because for whatever reason, you have a broad life and there are other things that you're choosing too. And so could you say, I'm choosing something else that's wonderful while this percolates?
Yeah.